Let's talk about missed opportunities today on what the heck is happening in HR.
For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description.
Thanks for coming back to What the Heck is Happening in HR. We're thrilled that you're here. And I want to talk to you about missed opportunities today. My mom was up in a facility recently. She fell and she had some complications. And she was in this short-term rehab facility with some skilled nursing. And while I was there, one of the healthcare workers, because by the way, I was there a lot, one of the healthcare workers said to me, "What is it you do?" I said, "Well, I work in HR and leadership." And she said, "Boy, could we use some HR and leadership around here," and proceeded to talk about her experiences with her manager, what she felt was unfair behavior, that they didn't know what they were doing, that you got different answers from different supervisors, that people sometimes treated you meanly, that they didn't pay them properly. I mean, it was just an array of things. And I hope no one in your organization is talking about you that way, and I hope they're not talking about your colleagues. But the lowest point in management, the person who is performing the worst, is the benchmark that employees look towards. They say, wow, I guess that's acceptable. And that's what the leader looks like. So even if it's not you and it's a colleague, it still has a reflection on the management team. And so I want to be sure you don't miss the opportunity for a new class that actually I'm teaching called HR Essentials for Managers. And participants are going to explore key concepts and work on their partnership with HR. And you might be like, oh, this is just an HR feel-good class. And that's not it at all. See, you end up in HR's office or HR ends up in your office, but many times it's the other way around because it's just more confidential, because an employee complained or something came up or we got a charge or we got a lawsuit or there were complaints or the metrics are showing that there's a lot of disengagement in your group. And those are all things that you don't want to be in HR for. I know that's not right grammar, but you don't want to be in there for those. However, there are a lot of things you could be in the HR department because you wanted to do them. And that's including enhancing employee engagement, learning how to create a strategy to engage those employees and retain them. Make sure that you're not just being fun, but also fair, that you're conducting performance reviews appropriately, and that you're asking for advice. You're asking them to look at it with fresh eyes and give you their feedback, that you understand the latest in the laws. You understand the difference between exempt and non-exempt. You understand that they're not in your way, that HR has an administrative responsibility, they have an operational responsibility, and they have a strategic responsibility. Now, most of the time, managers will be working with the operational folks. The compliance folks or the administrative people are generally working on the posters, could be FMLA recording, could be working with payroll, could be processing within HRIS, but it's all compliance related, looking at the reports, looking at metrics, understanding what is going on there, getting, again, those posters up, getting filings out, COBRA, all of those sorts of things. Very important. It is expected that those things get done. But on the operational aspect, which is the area you'll be working with probably the most, these are the people who are going to help you set up interviews, help you understand why you need to interview the way you need to interview, what is acceptable as far as questions go, what's legal as far as questions go. And if you're just winging it You'll either get yourself in trouble, you'll get the organization in trouble, or you really become kind of one of the backroom jokes. See, I see people hired all the time because they are so good with their technical skills, but they don't make it. And I've had moments of that because of what some people call the soft skills when they're really the harder skills. And those are the skills about partnering with HR. And when I mean partner, I mean understand where they're coming from, engage with them to be able to succeed in your career, not just your employee's career, but those HR folks are the same ones working on succession plans. They're the same ones that when another position comes open, that management is turning to and saying, well, who do you think should be coming up from the supervisory ranks? They have a lot of influence. Sometimes they don't even realize how much influence they have, but they do have it. And so it's really important to build that compliance network, that administrative network, and hopefully eventually a strategic network with them. And all of that will help you build your career and help you have a very solid organization of your own. Because if you're interviewing poorly, you're interviewing with questions that are not legal, if you are acting in a discriminatory way, and you might not even know it, but if you don't accept the feedback or you don't ask those questions, instead you're looking at HR as a fence. And I've had supervisors who have said, well, don't go to HR, whatever you do, let's figure this out, but don't go to them. HR is not the place where you get in trouble. HR is the place where they can help you take the most and the biggest revenue line you have, or the resource line on your budget, and those are your people. And how do you get their potential out of each one of those individuals? The people you work with to do that are the people, and that's HR. So we have a class starting shortly on this, and it's just really a fabulous class. You will have some breakouts. You're going to get tons of resources. I'm going to give you real lawsuit cases. I'm going to give you things you can take into the morning and apply right away. This is a class that you should be taking if you want to grow in your career. And you're like, well, Kelley, I've been a manager for 5 years already. I already know this. I can bet you don't. I can bet you don't. Because working with this many generations in the workplace has never happened before. So I hope you'll join me for the class. It's called HR Essentials for Managers. And it's put on, with me and teaching it, but for University of South Florida Corporate Training and Professional Education. I sure hope you'll look into it, and I hope you'll join me in the class, and I hope you'll join me every Monday as we drop new episodes here on what the heck is happening in HR.